I've got to give you a free kick with this, Rowan. There he is, one case of COVID-19 in Perth. That case had been in the community for 5 days. No long list of places to warn people to isolate. Let's ruin a perfectly good long weekend. And no chief health officer in sight, mate.
Yeah, look, this is just getting beyond a joke. It's disgraceful, Chris. The reality is I would urge Mark McGowan, if he knows how to use a computer, to get onto lockdownskeptics.org and see for himself the statistics out of America over the autumn and winter there in America, where they had a sudden surge, and there were 50 states. And of those 50 states, some went into lockdown, some went into very harsh lockdowns, and some did nothing at all. The stats are now there, Chris, of the death rates per 10,000, per 100,000, however you want to measure it. And the stats show very, very clearly that lockdown, those states that did lockdown did not only do no worse than those that did lockdown, but some of them did quite a bit better. And the worst states were all those that locked down. So The reality is the science is in, the science is settled. Lockdowns are not the solution to the pandemic.
Well said. And if there is COVID in the community, you've just forced people close together, and that's exactly what will happen. They'll spread COVID-19. But Anthony Albanese, Prue, has jumped in very quickly, as a matter of fact, almost less than an hour, I think, after the press conference. He's tweeted, Scott Morrison keeps telling us the vaccine rollout isn't a race. Tell that to the 2 million people going into lockdown in Perth tonight. Once again, it's ordinary Australians who are paying the price for Scott Morrison's failure.
Well, Albanese hasn't got much else to talk about, has he? I mean, this is the problem for him. It's his Labor buddy boy who's doing, hitting the panic button. And, all I can say is, Albo, forget it, hot air, not worth it. If I was going to be living in Perth from here on in, though, I would be stocking up on Dunny paper. I reckon this guy is trigger happy, and it's going to go on for as long as COVID's around. Don't you reckon? He's just going to continue to locking the joint down.
Carolyn De Russo said it quite well and accurately at the beginning of the program. He doesn't have any faith in the health system or the hospital system at the moment. But anyway, night 2 of the virtual climate summit tonight, Rowan. Interesting to see and hear the Prime Minister this afternoon get stuck into Justin Trudeau and the Canadian carbon tax. Have a listen to this.
The plan that we're pursuing to adjust and to participate in the big change in the global economy to a net zero economy is being done through technology. Because if you do it through taxes, as I noticed one large economy last night who made a big commitment, very big commitment, I think it was 45% reduction by 2030. They've also announced a $170 per tonne carbon price. I won't be doing that in Australia. I'll be getting there by technology, not taxes.
Scott Morrison has gone green, Rowan, but at least we can thank him for no carbon tax.
Yeah, I still would like to see him get back that old bit of coal that he used to have in his top pocket and hand out around Parliament. I would like to see that Scott Morrison back. But full marks to Scott Morrison for what he said there. Full marks to Angus Taylor for how he's been responding on this issue, to the extent that, OK, they are making, some phrases that I would rather not be hearing. But the bottom line, what they're saying is we're not going to go down the route of targets and taxes. We're going to go down the route of technology. Yep. So that is the right approach if you believe all this claptrap, which I don't happen to. But if you are going to make noises on the international stage, at least that is the more honest approach to take. And so I can only applaud them for that. But what a joke the entire conference summit was. I mean, these clowns can't even use a Zoom meeting, and yet they're telling us how to run our future and run our economies. It's a farce, Chris.
That's a good point. Britain has declared the treatment of the Uyghur minority in China as genocide, Prue, and Tory MPs in particular have taken aim at Jacinda Ardern, the New Zealand Prime Minister, for crudely, quote, sucking up to China. She certainly hasn't gone the way of the Five Eyes, has she?
No, she sure hasn't. The Mother Teresa, Jacinda, and, her halo's slipped. She's no longer a saint that she portrays herself to be. She's got serious problems because little old New Zealand, has sold its soul. It wants the China revenue, and it's just, telling the rest of the Four Eyes family now, I'm calling it Four Eyes, to go and, jump. And she's going to be the first one that calls on, Australia, US, UK, Japan, if something goes wrong. I just think she's so out of step and it's so dangerous, and the woman needs a reality check. And I'm so glad UK has condemned her, that she's suddenly not the hero, the saint of the world.
Yes, exactly. Just before we let you go, on Monday we've got the Oscars. Now, there's so much on the weekend. I didn't remember that it was on, but it is. And I noticed that there's a lot of talk about the Best Picture nominations, Rowan, and how woke they are. And there are a couple of classic examples. I won't bore people going into all of that, but maybe this is when you really need Ricky Gervais hosting the event again.
Oh, yes, bring back Ricky Gervais. Wasn't he brilliant? And for a kind of dyed-in-the-wool left-winger, Ricky Gervais is absolutely against so many of this woke culture, and his great host speaks out against it. But here we go. What have the Oscars and Q&A got in common, Chris and Prue? Well, fewer and fewer people are watching both of them. And that is the old saying, or the new saying, you go woke, you go broke. No one will be watching the Oscars because people are fed up to the back teeth with this garbage. They like to see good films, good scripts, good actors, good directors, not all this garbage being shoved down our throats the whole time.
Don't tell me, Prue, you're going to watch it for the dresses, are you?
Mate, I haven't watched it for years. Having all these actors stand up and lecture us and hector us about, all this woke nonsense.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'd rather just go and, do my sock drawer.
Yes, exactly.
Clean under my bed, name it.
Yeah, it's a very constructive thing to do, sort out your sock drawer. I did it the other day, but anyway, I digress.